often forget to do that. So.
Well done.
Thanks, Jacqueline. You've done this before, haven't you?
Once or twice.
I haven't done this before, but we've done it. We've done it a few times.
Takes me a while to find a page.
We're here with our love note number 4, I believe we are today. And as you can see, you've got lovely Jacqueline Hollows here and Christopher from Beyond Truth. Is that right? Have I said that right? Yeah, brilliant. So we're really, really pleased that there's 2 of them here with us this morning. We weren't quite sure until the last minute. It's great that Christopher's made it. We're live. And, we know. I hear myself now somewhere.
No, it was me, sorry.
Thank you for being here. We're just offering these love notes. We call them love notes from Viva, to kind of give you a bit of a taste of what's going to be coming up for the main event, which happens at the end of October. And I nearly said August because we've got our Splash of Viva pre-party on August the 6th, which comes as a free bonus when you buy an early bird ticket. So our early bird tickets are on sale till the end of July. And so we're encouraging everybody to get in there and get a good price, and then join us at the pre-party. We've got lots of lovely things lined up for August. So on with the show, as they say. So Jacqueline, thank you for being here. We're really pleased to have you, and Christopher too. Our topic today is hope inside. So we haven't really talked about how we're going to, just free flow really. We just want to hear about, Jacqueline, just for anybody who's doesn't know anything about you or what Beyond Recovery is all about. Maybe that's a good place to start, just to quickly, describe what, explain to people what you're up to.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. It's so nice to be here. We really feel honoured. And it's lovely to share this space with Chris. I'm Jacqueline Hollows. I'm the founder of a non-profit organisation called Beyond Recovery, and we've been sharing the understanding of how the mind works in prison for the last 5 years. So mainly in prison. We work with people in custody, and we work with when they come out as well. And we run practitioner training programs for those people. And we also started working with the staff, and I do loads of other things, but that's the main thing. And the result of what we're doing is to do with finding hope inside. And it's funny because I was reflecting on that subject, and I was thinking about how hope can be another thing that we search for on the outside of ourselves. Hope can be another fix, like being hopeful that something will turn out in a certain way, or hoping that it'll all be okay in the end, and things like that. And the hope that we're referring to in this conversation with Chris is the awareness or the knowing that there's always hope inside, that there's always potential, that there's always that inside, underneath all our behaviour and our erroneous thinking, we're as pure as the day we were born. We have just as much potential and love, and that when you see that, when you get a glimpse of that well of hope and well of being, that unleashes all sorts of good yummy stuff. And that's really the sort of area that we've been working with the guys. And then Chris was one of those guys that I worked with, and he was he's quite a youngster. And he loved his football, I remember. And at the time when I met Chris, I remember him being very lively, maybe a lot of overthinking, I would say. Chris, would you say that's true? Yeah.
That is.
A lot of overthinking, didn't really know how to listen. And and sort of quite, you know, sort of how I would describe jumping off the walls, like bouncing off the walls. But he kept showing up. He kept showing up to group. He kept, he might be late, or he might have an excuse one week, but he kept showing up and he kept wanting to be involved in this conversation. And our job as teachers is not to judge that behaviour, is to keep seeing the well-being inside and the hope inside and the potential inside, and keep pointing towards that. And we did. And one day, and I remember, I wasn't actually there, but one of my facilitators called me and said, "Oh, Chris has dropped." And literally on that day, something clicked inside of him. And then there was a different Chris showing up. And it was the real Chris, the true Chris. The true self kept showing up. And then fast forward to now, and Chris is part of what we call the Fab Five. They've started this new sister organisation to Beyond Recovery called Beyond Truth. They want to make a difference in the world, and they're doing amazing stuff already. So I'll pause there and let Chris talk for himself.
Yeah, my name is Christopher Mavinga. I came through this understanding in prison, like Jackie Hollows has said, Mama J. Thank you very much. Yeah, at the time, I was looking for hope in the wrong places, looking for love in the wrong places, looking for myself in the wrong places, and doing courses along the lines. They made you more look at what you could have done or what you did before, but never really pointed it back to self. Until I came across this understanding, and even the first course I ever done with Jackie, she turned around and said, "You don't need to remember anything. You don't need to write anything down. If you don't want to come back the next day, it's pretty fine." But she said, just sit and look out and be aware of your feelings. I didn't understand that because I've done so many courses before where they never spoke about feelings. And I started to feel something. That's why I kept coming back. But because like how Jackie said, I was still boisterous, still a bit of a lot of energy, you know what I mean? I mean, just still don't want to be tied down to something. So I never got it how I should have got it. But I was persistent and carried on coming back because there was something in the course. There was something in there that spoke within me. And this is what Beyond Recovery does. And that's what Beyond Truth are trying to do, the same similar thing. And something spoke to me. Even Tough Love, there's another woman called Jackie May, I think.
Moses.
And Moses. Love she gave, and
Oh.
Oh,
Oh no, he'll come back.
Yeah.
He'll sort himself out. Yeah, the boys call me Mama J, by the way. So
I wondered if I heard that correctly.
Yeah, it's great.
That's cool.
When you started talking about hope, I was thinking absolutely. I've recently been reading quite a sort of a wide range of things and listening into a wide range of things. And one of the things that really struck me was a suspicion I've had actually for myself about exactly what you said, that hope interpreted in one way becomes another thing, wishing for things to be different.
Yeah.
I hope it will change. I hope the weather's good. I hope. And it's unhelpful.
Yeah.
It's hollow. Well, it's kind of.
It's another outside in.
Yeah,
I'm working with someone at the moment that I've worked with for a long time, and he's in prison on a miscarriage of justice, and he's been in prison for 14 years, and he should have been in for 3. And he keeps pinning his hope on the next thing. Oh, now we've got this idea, and the reason for his roller coaster is he pins his hope on that, and that's not helpful.
And then there's the crash, and the next crash,
And
and the
of
next
course,
crash.
of course, and then the disillusionment. And so you're riding that wave all the time, up and down, without realizing that's just yet another thing of looking outside of yourself to change the inside of yourself. But there's a deeper hope. There's a knowing that everything is okay, that you are okay regardless to your circumstances that may be in the moment unpleasant, or something that you don't like, or even really, really horrible and really, really dreadful. Even with all that, underneath there is a stillness and a well of being that never gets damaged, and that's what we want to point to. You're back, Chris.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
I need to get a laptop, so that's why I'm gonna invest in one.
Cool.
Like I was saying, I was very boisterous, and I still wanted to be a kid in a mad sort of way. So I wasn't listening, and that was another blind side that till this day, I still catch myself not listening to the person and want to answer finish the person's answer or try and talk for them. I still catch myself doing that sometimes. And if it wasn't for actually doing a listening class and getting to actually even listen to yourself, sometimes we speak to ourselves, but we don't, and think like, what's that? But it's our intuition, our inside, our wisdom talking to us. And we probably come across it so many times in our life that we just disregard it or we refuse to listen to it, especially to prisoners. A lot of prisoners that go through the criminal activities, what they do, even before they get to a crime, they probably, something told them like, what you're doing, but they didn't want to listen to it because they were so eager of wanting to get what they wanted to go. The goal, what they wanted to get is to the riches, so they forgot to listen to themselves. So when Jackie brought that back and started to work on myself, I started listening again. Started listening to people that actually wanted to help instead of just wanted to be around me. And Jackie was a blessing in disguise because she actually wanted to help. Probably other people in a group, in an organization at the time thought, what was this guy doing? He's not taking it in. But Jackie saw something, and that's what it is, because that's love. That was genuine love. That was genuine compassion. She saw something and she wanted to reach out. And a lot of people don't have that opportunity. And when they do, sometimes people are afraid of it because they've never experienced that love or that warm compassion. So they're very quick to dismiss it. Nah, what you doing? Or what you doing? Because there was even a situation that happened a couple of weeks ago where I've never been in a situation like that before, but always see it on TV where crime, where someone's been stabbed. We see it on TV, but to be live in the mix and to see it actually happening to you, and the ripple effect that's having on the person's friend, it was an 18-year-old boy got stabbed. His friends now started to come and they started to blame themselves. Like, why wasn't I here? How come no one called me? Watch. So their mind was going where anyone's mind would probably go, like straight to revenge, straight to hate, but I don't know, something come over me that day. Wilson, another Fab Five, his instinct was go over there and see what he can do. He's not a first aid, but that was his first instinct. So let me go over there and see what I could do. I was like, so what you did? You just went. And through that helping, and he was speaking to one young fella, and the young fella was very distraught. He was blamed, and he had so much compassion and love for this boy. I think they probably grew up together or something, but he started to cry. And I don't know why. I just went over there. I didn't want him to cry how he was crying because it was the wrong sort of cry. He was crying for revenge or why was I here. I wanted to give him a cuddle to say, it's okay. Your friends are, where he's going to go, he's going in a better place. It might not have been a bad reason why he's gone, but it's okay to even cry for your friend in that way. Don't cry for him in a way where you want to revenge. Cry for him because you're mourning for him. Don't cry for him for the wrong reasons. So that was my cuddle and my relief for him, like, to just, don't blame yourself, you know. There's light at the end of the tunnel, innit? And you can stop this from happening. You don't have to be the next victim, or another mother gonna be losing her son. So you don't want that to carry on. Like, at least stop him. But that's the outcome what we have. And it was kind of hard for me because that was the life I used to live before, and had a friend this year go to the same circumstances, and it was heartbroken. And it was like, I felt him, but I didn't want him to continue that mad cycle of repeating someone's soul getting taken off, and especially a young age, at that young. And it's something that I'm looking forward to being a father one day, and soon it is going to be, and I want their life to not go through the same things that we went through. And if we can stop certain things along the way or help someone along the way, then hope is always around, as long as you start looking from inside, though.
And you held him, didn't you, Chris? You cuddled him.
Cuddled him, like, I like I said, I didn't expect what sort of reaction I was going to get. He could have pushed me away and said, "What are you doing?" But he just cuddled me back once he knew it was from a general love place. And I think that would probably stay with him, because if that happens again, he will remember that cuddle. And no one's going to be, he's going to remember that. And I think both of us left the impact on that day, because that's when I really decided I know what I wanted to do, and I'm on the right path to do it.
Amazing.
That's very powerful. I was thinking that what I was hearing then was that kind of you're kind of knowing what to do. It wasn't like textbook or you've been trained, but you just knew somehow that, and that's the call to compassion and just pure love, isn't it? I don't know about all the other stuff, but this is how I feel right now. And then that ripples to the other person. It isn't the words, is it? It's just like the connection. That's beautiful. Tragically, but.
Yeah, the young man did die, unfortunately.
Wow.
And that's the thing that one of the reasons why we're 100% supporting the guys and behind the guys. I mean, we love them, you know, obviously, but apart from that, they are actually in the thick of it. They're in the war zone, you know. They're still living in the places where they were involved in stuff before, and so they're in the right place to make change. And you can, that simple act of both Wilson going and he held the wound and he tried to resuscitate the young man that had been stabbed, and then Chris going and cuddling his friend, just those simple acts could have a massive impact on the lives of everyone around there. And so, and like Sue said, it doesn't come from a textbook or from a do this or do that or how to teach. It just comes inside you, and then being able to bring that into the world in the moment of that insight and the listening. Because I know from when I heard the story before, both lads had other thoughts in that moment. You know, I mean, imagine the moment. That's a scary place to be. You might want to run away. You might not want to get involved. You might be worried about your own life. To let all of that pass. That is so powerful. I really respect what you did there, Chris. Both of you.
Thank you. But, being compassionate, because even when it's taken a while, it's like it has. It's not easy, because I remember even talking before. I even asked you, Jackie, how is it gonna, like, with this understanding? How am I gonna cope on the outside going back to London, because I was always telling you I want to move out of London. But in that moment, I felt like, right, this is the reason why I'm still in London. You know what I mean? So, because I always wanted to escape it. And I always remember I told you that was one of the things, because I've got this understanding now, like how we're going to cope. But little things that we put in play, like even the WhatsApp group, that just helped. Like little things like that just help. So for prisoners that are coming out with this understanding, when you feel like you're alone, because a lot of people feel like they're alone and they can't speak to anyone or they can't reach out to no one, that's when they just slowly drift back into their old patterns without even knowing. And sometimes it's not good to escape, and I always felt it was good to escape as long as I'm not away from the troubles. But sometimes when you're in it, you don't feel what you used to feel, like the anxiety to do this or the anxiety to do that or to be around. You just feel like, nah, that's just not you no more. That lane's literally not you no more. Like even if you force it, and certain times I even caught myself when I did go back in a situation, I not subconsciously but put on a mask. I put on that mask that I used to put on, and when I get into conversations and I start talking as Chris, they look at me weird. I'm thinking like, right, but I'm still me. Nah, I got the mask on. I'm talking. It's like, I take off the mask and just talk with me. And I've been in 2 situations like that where I felt, all right, well, I don't need to into that old state of mind. No, just, yeah, I'm cool. So sometimes people feel like they need to escape, and I felt like that. So I'm only speaking because I felt like that before. When you realize when you are in a good place, no matter where you go, you always be in a good place.
Yeah. I love that, because people that we all have that thinking, and it may not be as extreme that you're talking about, but we all have that thinking of, if I wasn't in this country, or if I wasn't in this place, or if I wasn't in lockdown, if I wasn't in a job, or if I wasn't in a relationship, we all have that thinking of, if I was in some other circumstance, I could do better, be better, help more. And what you're pointing to really powerfully shows that regardless to the circumstances, in fact, perhaps the circumstances are your invitation to love. Perhaps the circumstances are there saying, you can help here. You can get really get to say, well, maybe I should be here, because I not be involved in this. And you know, it must be very frustrating, because I'd be saying, well, only you can answer those questions, and just kept coming back to that place of, you're okay, and you are love, you're born love. Keep pointing you back to that. And I know you had conversations with the other chaps as well, and then you got to see that for yourself, but we couldn't rescue you. And that's the thing about, you can't rescue anyone. All you can do is be compassionate, love them, help them see that little bit of wisdom inside them, and that grows and that expands, and then that has the potential to change everything from within.
You see, with this understanding is why you're speaking, certain time when people just need to they just need to them speaking their self, they will hear what they need to hear. Because that's where Jackie, the tough love again, she always used to point it back to me. Like, yeah, but what? But it's you. It's like I always had the answers. So sometimes with a little bit of tough love and refer it back to sometimes the person's got the answer for himself, but he just needs to hear it again from no judgment part, and someone just wants to listen to him, and he will get heard.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, beautiful.
I think it's, you know, when you listen to yourself, there's no one there, is there, to say, hey, how do you say that? Then you're off on the going round and round and round. Yeah, what about this? What about that? And it's like you're trapped in this. There's nothing fresh. There's nothing new. And in a way, I was thinking, like, parents talk about, oh, my child needs a good talking to, and I think, no, they need a good listening to.
Yeah.
Half the time. And maybe that just applies to all of us. I really get what you're saying about when you're listened to, it's an opportunity almost for fresh air somehow. In the other person's listening is like a fresh air for us. Oh, sorry, I've got the dog down. Yes, it's wonderful hearing your, very, very reviving to hear this as well. Because I can get caught up in things that don't even come on the scale, believe me. Well, I'm sure you can guess, but if it can, we can hear from you talking about that extreme situation, and then relate that to, well, if it works there, it works everywhere. In some ways I can say, well, if it works for me, it works for anyone, but that's not that convincing, I don't think. Because I can look like a very lucky person.
Yeah.
Well, guys, thank you.
Thank you.
My internet
Thank you, everybody.
Unstable, so I haven't been joining in as best I could. I'm sorry about that. But really, really, thank you, Christopher, for sharing that story about the stabbing, because that's very, well, more commonplace than we'd like to think, I think. And I think, as Sue was pointing to, this makes it very real. I mean, it's like you in a circumstance that look, horrific, right? And to come from that place of love is just, there's no words for that for me.
I just hope that thousands and thousands of people are listening. That it
They
ripples out to thousands and thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of people, because we've all been saying for decades, how do we make this stop? And you've just summed it up. You put your arms around that lad. Like, it's not complicated, but it has to come from inside. Yeah, it's very powerful.
And that you see that love is the answer. I listened to your webinar that you did with Jacqueline, and you guys talking about your Fab Five, talking about love. It's just stunning, it really is, the message that you've got to share. So keep on doing what you're doing.
Yeah, please.
Yeah,
thank you.
keep on doing
We will.
Amazing.
Make sure you log in tonight, 6 o'clock.
Oh, is it? There you
Yeah.
6 o'clock
There you
tonight.
go.
Well, of course.
Well done.
Brilliant. Well, we're looking forward to more of this at Viva.
Yes.
No problem.
Yeah.
I will definitely be there with the rest of the team.
Amazing. Oh, that's going to be so good. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much.
Today. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye,
everybody.
Jackie. Bye-bye, everybody.